Good morning, Bear fans. I'm live here in Clayton High School today, and I'm with the new principal of Clayton High School, Bobby Howard.
Good morning.
All right, so we've been doing a lot of interviews lately, and I just wanted to, so we've had the chance to talk before. Let's see if there's a better way to get that. There we go, sort of. I don't need to be in this, but you do.
Okay.
All right, so first of all, just welcome to Clayton.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you here. How do you like it so far?
We love it. You
Yeah.
know, everybody's so nice. It's pretty amazing because sometimes small towns, you get this vibe, but everybody's been welcoming and wonderful.
What's your favorite restaurant?
Right now, I would have to say it's the Taqueria Del Heart too.
Taqueria?
Yeah, Taqueria. Yeah.
I know, that's such a name. Taqueria Del Heart too.
Yeah.
But there's 3 and 4 and 5 out there.
Wow.
Too.
Okay.
Just fun fact of the day.
Well, a fun fact is the lady that works the place is from where I grew up. I mean, they came from where I grew up.
No way. And where is that?
In Alabama.
Alabama.
Yes.
You grew up in Alabama?
I did.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, are you proud of that, or are you a little afraid to say that? Because you kind of were like,
No, I'm proud of it. I mean, I like it there.
Okay.
It's just, I'm glad to be out.
Really? Do you go back ever?
I haven't been back in over 10 years.
Really?
Yeah, I
It's
have family there,
beautiful
but
in Alabama.
it is. I just we don't like the weather and.
No, too humid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an Arkansas girl, actually, so I know they're not the same, but they're pretty damn close. So I know what you're coming from. Well, at least they're good stock over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you've taught in Colorado and Texas.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What brought you here?
I was actually been in New Mexico more.
Okay, tell me about it.
I came here right at the end of the recession.
Okay.
Because I was actually in Alabama and couldn't get a job because there were 120 applicants for every one I applied for, and even being in the top 5 was honorable but didn't pay the bills.
Sure.
And we had a friend who was in Albuquerque, and we came out and spent some time visiting. I said, if I find a job here, I'm going to stay. And immediately I did, and we came out and we loved it. And I actually came back because I love the way the education system works here better. I feel like I can make more of an effect or a change here than I could in Texas, where I really felt like a number.
Okay. How did you feel like what made you feel like a number over there?
Pretty much
how
way
it differs.
Kind of the way the district was. I mean, we had, Corpus Christi has about 350,000 people. And so it was large, and we had just some of the things that they did, the way that they would, treat you unless you were in a certain group. They kind of treated you like you were just one of them and one of these numbers, and they didn't. Like I can tell you, I was in a class for leadership with the district, and they would say things that like they didn't even know who I was. And I'm like, this is a small class, and we're leaders, and how do you not know who these are? And I mean, there were 1 or 2 that were beyond that, but overall, the whole district, and it's just, and the way that Texas politics dominated the schools, it really kind of made it difficult it was really difficult to make any change there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, we're happy to have you in New Mexico. We think it's the best state there is. So.
I'm me too.
So welcome. Welcome back. Now, and what are some of your goals now that you're here in Clayton? What are your goals for Clayton High School, Clayton Municipal Schools in general?
All right. My goals are worst to first. Okay. So
what does that mean? Tell us.
First of all, we were, for some reason, the worst district in the state for attendance. And I intend to be the first.
Awesome.
The best. Most improved, all of that.
And you have a challenge.
Yes.
Circling that.
Right. Well, we're building that. It's taken a little time and effort because there's a lot to it.
Sure.
So I know that we have certain days, they're called ADA days, where we count and that's where we determine our enrollment.
Okay.
And so when we get paid, that's what we get paid for. So obviously we went 100% on those days. And so on those days is where we really want to push some of these challenges. But for this week, our challenge I've sent out to the kids is for everybody that has a perfect attendance, they have an opportunity to be the mascot for the weekend.
Oh, that is so cool.
All right, so we're trying to do some fun things and give them some prizes, some rewards for coming to school and being here. But it's not just that, because being here is part of the learning.
Mm-hmm.
But just being here isn't all of it. So I'm in all the classrooms all the time. Teachers probably sick of me looking in, but if I see somebody laying their head down, I come in and I get them on track. And that's my job, is to support the teachers to make sure that the students are actually giving us an effort.
Right. Well, and you can't fix a problem if you don't know that there is one.
Right.
So that's excellent. That's excellent. One thing that I go to all the school board meetings from the comfort of my bed at home. I love that Clayton provides that on their YouTube. That is so important. I think every entity should provide that, some kind of digital way for people to see what's going on in their community, because it's not always easy to get out there. But there's a lot of politics that happen within the school system, right?
Of course, yes.
And I feel like maybe even more in a small town like ours.
Mm-hmm.
How are you handling all of the political landscape of Clayton?
The truth is, and this is the way I handle it everywhere I go, the good thing about being in New Mexico for me is that I'm not related to anybody.
That helps. It does help.
I'm not related. I don't come here with baggage. Unfortunately, I don't make friends. I'm friendly and I love everybody, and I enjoy the people, but I don't get involved in the cliques and the politics. And so when I make my decisions here, it doesn't matter who you are. I make my decisions based on what's going to make the school better and help the kids. So number one in my decision making is all about the student and what's going to help them the best. And so I don't fear any kind of situation about politics. If to be honest, I come in here just for that kid, and if I'm not liked because of it, then okay, I can move on. I'm accustomed to it, but it's not that I want to.
Right.
Especially when I like them, and I've made a lot of connections already with students, and so and some of them already know who's on my radar, and when I mean radars, I'm focusing on their success.
Right.
And they know it, and so if the community or the politics doesn't like me for whatever that reason is, then that's fine, because I know I'm doing the right thing for the kid.
Yeah. So how can we support you as a community, or your school board, or anyway? How can everybody pull into?
I think the thing is to buy in, and it's not just 100% like say, oh my God, Mr. Howard, you're right. Everything that you do is right.
Sure.
Obviously, because I'm open to. I know I'm not perfect, so I'm open to when somebody catches something and says, you know what, think about it this way. Yeah, you're right. I have no problem with that. So I just think it's just being a part of the team. If we can just be an open-minded team about focused on the student, then that's what I need.
Right. Okay. And communication.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Good team communicates.
Yes, it does. It doesn't work unless you can speak with each other openly. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, maybe you've noticed, are you on the Facebook world here? Have you gotten involved in that yet?
I'm on the school, but I don't really use Facebook for anything other than like Marketplace.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I try not to really get involved with a lot of social media.
So a lot of people in this area use social media, use Facebook as news, information, right? Radio is still our number one source of news and information, however, for Clayton. But a lot of information gets put out there from parents or even the schools, but it doesn't get answered through Facebook. so it can get skewed, right?
Of course.
One thing that has kind of been going all over Facebook right now is the hoodies. And I know the reason, I understand the reasoning, but it's creating a little bit of a stir in town with parents. You want to just clear the air and let everybody know what's going on there?
I can just say that it's we talked about it at the school board meeting, and the whole thing is that each school has to manage their students based on what they have. Here at the high school, they're allowed to wear their hoodies. They just can't wear their hoods, just like on the policy. But at the lower levels, from what I understand now, she has to speak for herself, but sometimes we have to adjust these things accordingly, because last few years I was at a middle school, and we did the same thing.
Yep.
Our dress code policies were a lot more strict than the district, because those students will react a little differently. Okay, and I know one of the issues we have a really bad problem with right now is vaping.
Right.
And one of the things they use their hoodies for is to vape and to hide it and stuff like that. So, I mean, we really have to think big picture, and hopefully we can prevent it happening before, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Because when they start at that young age, it's really hard to get them to quit.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm sure that's part of it, is that, she's adjusting to her student body.
So high school students can still wear their hoodies? Okay. Well,
as long as they're appropriate, don't say anything on them that they shouldn't say, you know what I mean?
Right, as long as everything else is covering, following
if they don't have Philadelphia Eagles on it, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no Philadelphia Eagles allowed, or Cowboys. Oh, you're already breaking the laws here. What?
Aren't we in cowboy country here?
No, actually, you're good. You can wear Denver or Cowboys and probably get down the streets fine here. I think you're fine.
Good.
All right. Well, that's good. Are you with us for the long haul? Is this your final destination?
What's
your next stop?
What we hope, to be honest. I tell all my students, because they've already asked, how long are you going to be here?
Because that's a big thing for us in Clayton, and that's kind of why I feel like Clayton people don't always just welcome everybody into the fold, because
I understand it.
Are you really here? Are you really investing with us? Are you really, or are you going
and see, I can answer that based on when I accepted this position, when I looked for it initially, because I was talking to several New Mexico schools, and all of them really small. I didn't even look at Albuquerque, Santa Fe, or none of that. I just don't want that. And then it kind of just happened really well, and I was like, okay, there's something going on here. And then the next thing you know, there's a position for my wife at the hospital that just kind of was like, wow, that fell in there too. And then we came up here for a visit, and then this house hits, and so I believe everything happens for a reason.
Oh yeah, God opens
so
doors
I'm brought
where He
here
needs to.
for a reason, and I may never know what it was, but like I tell the kids, I'm gonna stay here for as long as I'm supposed to stay here. I have no intention to leave, because we're happy.
Yeah.
And as long as we're happy and everything's good, we're good. Obviously the town could say, we don't like you anymore, and I don't stay where I'm not liked. But as long as everything's good, and I feel like, I think the main thing is I want to feel like I'm really making a change. I want to make sure that I'm helping.
Right.
If I'm, like I told one of my students, at the end of the year when I see that you've been successful, now I know I've done what I want to do. And if I keep seeing that, probably nothing will drag me away.
Yeah.
Because it took forever to get me out of the classroom and into admin.
Right, that would be hard.
They had to show me, because I did admin and teaching and coaching all at the same time at Mesa Vista, and what they did was show me how I could actually affect more change. So that's when
you're like, oh, okay, I can.
So that was the only thing.
Well, that makes sense. Well, you're also in the Navy.
I was, yes.
So thank you so much for your service.
Thank you.
I think that probably brings a lot to what you do in your career. It probably helps you a lot every day.
I agree.
And helps you with the mentoring of these kids as well. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that experience?
Yeah, because I tell some of my students a lot of times is I wasn't much different from them. I was a clown, goofed off. I got paddled almost every day at school, and
back when that was allowed.
Oh yeah, I mean, and it was I deserved it. I was silly. I wasn't disrespectful, but and I didn't get the best grades. It wasn't that I was dumb. I just played, and I was immature. Wasn't really grown. I even lived a while because I was 23 when I left for the Navy. So I lived a while and tried other things, and it just didn't work out because I was not ready.
Right.
I was not a grown man yet. And the Navy taught me to be a grown man. And not only that, but they taught me mental health. So I worked in mental health, and I continued doing that for many years before I became a teacher. And so I think that also helps me to understand how to connect with the students.
Well, yeah, definitely. You carry yourself very well, and you and I have already had a lot of conversations outside of this interview right now, and I've been very impressed.
Thank you.
I will say that. I don't exclude myself from being cautious like the rest of the community about new
That's
people.
understandable, yes.
But I do feel like I'm always going to give everybody a chance. I won't judge anybody, for good or bad. But my cautious judgment on you is that you've got it right so far. And I am excited to see what you do, because the change that I've seen already, and we've talked already about this, but in my son, and how you've handled some situations this year already with my son, I'm thankful. I'm thankful because he was heard, I was heard, the teachers were heard, and that's what needs to happen.
I agree, and I think that's another thing that my mental health background has taught me, is to listen.
Yeah.
And to openly listen, to actively listen, and to know, because what everybody has to say, especially our students, is important. And I told a parent, I think yesterday, I'm trying to build a culture of mutual respect here, that the students also feel like they're respected every time they go in the classroom.
It's so important.
And when they do, then there's a lot less challenges. And I can tell you that some of these kids already will probably jump through a burning wall for me because of what I'm doing for them. And it's that relationship that we build.
Yep.
And and I'm working with these teachers, and we've got great teachers here.
We do.
And I already feel like they're way better staff than I've had in the past couple of years.
Wow.
Overall, way better.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I mean, they're amazing, and the things they're doing to work towards our change of culture is great. I'm completely impressed with their professionalism and what they're doing for these kids.
That's excellent. I love hearing that. Thank you so much. I'm not going to take I've already been here for so long.
Yeah, I need to get in some classrooms.
I know. We better get back to real life. But thank you so much for taking this time with me this morning and talking to our fans out there. This is so important, having these open conversations with the community and just letting people know who you are. Oh my gosh, because the rumors and people talk, and you just never know until you get to sit down and talk with somebody.
Absolutely.
But if there's one final thing you would like our fans to know about you, or one final word, what would you like to tell them?
I'd like to say that even if it is 1 year, one and done, right? Everything I do, I'm building towards a positive future. So, I'm not saying that it's going to be, because again, in my plan, it's not. But if something were to happen and I just never came back again, I'm building so that it's better when I leave. And I want everybody to feel comfortable that they can approach me and ask me anything, anytime. I don't shy away from it. I'm an open book. And I want everybody to feel welcome. I think one of the things I do with my students is to make sure they feel comfortable to be here.
Yes.
Because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to learn. And so I want the parents in the community also feel comfortable to be that I'm approachable.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Of course.
All right, Bear fans, thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. You heard it right here. We're going to get back. Well, you guys are going to just get back to your scrolling on Facebook because we're not live on air right now. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Tomorrow we're going to be interviewing Gina Zoe from Velvet Rogue. She was on The Voice, so make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for joining me.